You are now listening to Can't Feel the Heat, the unofficial podcast about the Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival. Our mission is to explore the complexities of Coachella, covering the news, music, artists, technology, and business of the festival. Please rate us on Apple Podcasts and subscribe on all of your favorite platforms. Follow us on Instagram at Can't Feel the Heat and check out our website at www.can'tfeeltheheat.com. Can't Feel the Heat is hosted by Tom Nash and Vanessa Franco.
All right, welcome back to Can't Feel the Heat. I am the host, Tom Nash. The co-host is Vanessa Franco.
Hello.
What's up, Vanessa?
We survived. I survived week one, and I'm ready to do it all again.
Our guest today is Michael Milano. Michael is a DJ and Coachella set times guru. He also goes by Mikey1313 on Reddit. What's up, Michael? Welcome back to the podcast.
How's it going? Good to be back.
So good to have you here. Michael and Vanessa were at Coachella Weekend One. I enjoyed it from the comfort of my home watching the live stream. We will start off this episode, like always, with the news update. So, Vanessa, after going to Coachella, what is the big news?
Well, okay, so you have to remember we haven't had Coachella since 2019, so things did not run as smoothly as I think everyone would have hoped, but I think that everyone kind of anticipated that.
Yeah.
Probably one of the biggest things we heard about was the water situation. People had a hard time finding the water, and I think, Michael, did you find water finally?
I mean, it took me long enough, but I just remember walking around Friday and, I've been going since 2007 for reference. And walking around casually, there's usually just a bunch of water stands. You can usually buy water at the lemonade pop-up little stands kind of around there. And they didn't exist this year. And even the designated, water stands that used to kind of exist more throughout the eating areas, I think I only saw 2 of those the entire weekend.
Crazy.
Wow. And the filling stations, too.
Yeah.
Like, I heard about people having issues with the water refill stations not working the first day.
Yes. Yeah. So some people, were having issues kind of finding the water stations in general, which the map wasn't too difficult about that. But the main issue for me was the fact that it only appeared that I think one of them was really working, or at least a couple of them were not. I didn't go to literally every single one, because after I went to the second or third one of them that wasn't working, I was like, I'm not doing this anymore. So, yeah, it was not great. It was not great. I believe they did fix them, whether it be Saturday or Sunday. But I, again, at that point, didn't even want to walk over there to be disappointed.
Good news was that the weather was like pretty good, right? It could have been a lot worse.
Oh, it was manageable. Yeah.
Yeah, it was manageable. But I mean, I forgot like how hot you can get out there watching somebody at the outdoor stage or the main stage at like 2:00 in the afternoon. You're like, whoa, even though it's only 90, this is toasty.
Oh, yeah.
I think the other thing too that like I know that I ran into, like everybody on our team ran into Friday, and it did get better through the weekend, was the parking. It was insane. Friday night, like, no one was there to direct traffic. Like, it was like, I don't know, I felt like it was almost like Mad Max. That's how I felt like trying to leave the parking lot Friday night. I was just really excited when we finally got back. Like, it took us like an hour and a half to go the 5 miles back to where we were staying.
Oh my goodness.
And the next day, like Saturday for us, like, if you're trying to go, you want to get there before 3:00. Like, we left at 3 and I didn't get in the gates until 5. So, like, if you're going this weekend, go there early. We had better time getting out on Saturday. I heard fewer horror stories on Saturday and Sunday, but I know that we were not the only ones who ran into that.
Out of curiosity, on Friday, what parking were you at? Were you in the blue parking or the
I was in yellow.
red?
I was back in yellow.
Okay. You see, I think we got there early enough on Friday so that we got to blue parking, because actually leaving on Friday wasn't really much of an issue for us, for what it's worth.
Ah.
That's good.
Yeah, so I think if you get there early enough, and I know blue parking used to be handicap only, and I guess it's not this year. It's like it's for handicap, I think, but it's not strictly handicap. I'm not entirely sure. All I know is that at least the first 2 days we were able to just, pull up to blue parking like most other people and just kind of let us in.
That's great.
But I think that's my guess is that maybe it's because we were early enough. I'm not entirely
exactly.
sure.
Get there early. Definitely get there early. That was the latest.
Yeah.
I never go there that early, and now I remember why. Like, you shouldn't go there that late, rather, because I'm like I didn't almost didn't get in. Like, I missed Les Imperatrices. I'm still upset about that.
Oh,
okay.
I got there halfway through them. I'm really glad. I was sprinting over there by the time I got it.
It's going to happen weekend too. Other things to know, if you're going this weekend, the merch lines were insane. I've been going since 2007. I've never seen the merch lines like this. If you are looking for Harry Styles or Billie Eilish merch, however, they had individual stands that seemed to be much more manageable. And I know some people had luck with the Coachella merch. Obviously, it's not as big of a selection, but out in the campground at one of the smaller, like, satellite merch locations. But it was like people were waiting for hours in the merch line. Just hours. So that's something to keep in mind. The other thing, too, is that the prices for food are definitely steeper this year. And in some cases, you're getting, like, smaller portions. So everybody knows spicy pie is $11 now. That is a lot for a piece of pizza. I always felt like spicy pie is, like, my economical choice when I'm at Coachella. So, like, be mindful of that. Water is still $2 though, so that's good. But hopefully everybody can find the refill stations this weekend. But those are things to keep in mind if you're going. Now, if you aren't going this weekend, if you're going to celebrate Couchella, something to know is that they are doing the YouTube stream. However, it's not going to be like Weekend One. You're not going to get nonstop music. They're doing the Coachella curated again. So it means a lot more produced pieces, like segments, interviews, and only select sets. So just be aware of that. If you like went Weekend One and you're hoping to relive everything by live streaming everything Weekend Two, it's not going to be the same.
Yeah, I enjoyed the live stream for Weekend One. I was not out there on the polo fields, but the production value was through the roof. And some of it was a little weird. Like they were making some really artistic choices, like with like Madion, for example. Like the editing was just like crazy, like way too many edits, like way too much cutting around and stuff. Really gave you like disorienting vibes. But other than that, the streaming was just through the roof. I'm excited to talk about the things that I saw that really stood out. But before we do that, why don't we kind of walk through the whole weekend and say, like, you know, what we love seeing kind of chronologically. So, Michael, it sounded like you were able to get there relatively smoothly on Friday. What was the first thing that really stood out to you?
Yeah, I did. I was able to get there pretty easily on Friday. You know how group situations work with trying to get people out of the place. So, unfortunately, I wasn't able to make Mute, which I was looking forward to. But we got there and we saw a little bit of like the second half we saw most of Arouge Aftab, who was lovely, but was getting a little drowned out by Princess Nokia, not going to lie, which is because it was super loud on the main stage and Arouge is pretty quiet.
Happens.
Yeah, that was great. I got it for that. Then I went over to The Who. I've seen them a bunch of times. That was a good time.
You've seen The Who a bunch of times? I didn't know they were like so prolific.
I've seen them let me rephrase. I've seen them twice before. I saw them in Chicago at Riot Fest and I saw them at Outside Lands.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was always a fun show. It's kind of hot for that. I was hoping they'd be in a tent like a little bit later and it would have been a little bit nicer, I think. You know, Mika was after that. That was some fun bubblegum, like, you know, pop stuff. I had a blast just kind of throwing back.
The pop Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, pretty much.
Did he have a big, like, did he bring a stage set or anything with him? Because I didn't make it over there in time.
No, not really. Nothing elaborate whatsoever. But it was fun. I mean, it wasn't anything super duper special, but like it was a good daytime main stage dance party, you know?
I love those.
Can't complain. Would recommend if you got nothing else going on for sure.
I want to see it. It's so catchy and bubbly and put you in a good mood. Did it sound okay? Because he was complaining about his his monitors not working.
Yeah, I think
it sounded fine from where you were at.
I think what happened. I think it was his earpiece. I think his microphone earpiece was messed up because I think at a certain point they did come over and fix it for him. But yeah, no, I mean he sounded good. You know, it's hard to hit some of those notes, so some of them he kind of phoned in a little bit. He phoned in a few of them, not going to lie, which made it, you know, if he was going out and hitting all those notes, he would be headlining at this point, you know what I'm saying? But
I agree, yeah.
but he was great. I mean, I'd recommend if you get the chance to check him out. Went and saw some Still Woozy. I'm a Still Woozy fan. I really wasn't feeling it. The sound wasn't really mixed super well, and I don't know if it was the crowd or just the fact that it was in the Mojave, which not the same thing against the Mojave, but I don't know. It wasn't the mood. It wasn't the mood.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know you've been big fan of his since at least 2019.
Yeah, I found out I didn't know about him until he was on the lineup in 2019, but I became a pretty decent fan after that, and I've seen him a few times since then. But this was easily the worst time. I just wasn't into it. I don't know. Would not highly recommend unless you're like a super into Still Woozy.
Okay.
And then from there, I was trying to figure out the dilemma of how do I approach Arcade Fire, right? Like, do I just stay in Still Woozy all through Carly Rae Jepsen, who is good, but I don't really care too much about. I would rather go see the Marias. And so what I wound up doing is I wound up seeing a little bit of the Marias, coming back for the end of Carly Rae Jepsen, and staying for the 30-minute gap till Arcade Fire, who was definitely my set of the weekend. Arcade Fire was just absolutely incredible. I'm not going to say that I cried a little bit, but I definitely cried a little bit.
Yeah, so emotional.
Oh, it was just so good. And like starting out the show, I mean, I know it sounds weird, but starting out the show with, calling the medic, like it set the tone for the whole show in like a weirdly positive way. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It was really great. Like I hope the person's okay. It sounds like they are, but it really just, it set the mood for the whole thing in such a nice way that it was so fantastic. It was the moment where I was looking around and everybody was singing along, and I was like, oh, we back.
I don't know if you caught this, but there's a moment in the song when he's like, I hope I get a daughter before I grow old. And like, I noticed it, and our friend Tim Cromwell noticed it, that like he kind of got like choked up there.
Yeah.
And it was just like, wow, like we've really watched him grow up, haven't we? Like from like the Coachella documentary in 2005.
Seriously.
And I know that performance in 2005 really like launched them.
Yeah.
And that was like 17 years ago now.
Yeah, he said at some point, he was like, first time we played 2005, we were just kids. You know, it's true. That's insane.
I felt like that too. I felt like I grew up with Arcade Fire at Coachella.
Oh, same. Oh, yeah. I mean,
I thought they were going to bring out their son. Because he was talking about him too. He was like, "Oh, bring him out! What's he doing? Give him a tambourine or something. It would fit the aesthetic of the band."
Well, you know what was so great about it is that it had those moments, because I think that like when I was looking around the crowd, there were definitely like you could tell there were many of us who had seen Arcade Fire in various forms over the years, and we were all there. And we're like, "This is a great surprise." And then when like they had the crazy inflatables that you would find at a used car lot pop up, and it was like that pure joy. Like it was so emotional. Like it made my heart happy. And I was like, this is what we've all been trying to get back for. I mean, for me, they played my favorite song is Rebellion Lies. Like we played it at my wedding. It was like the dance floor, like hit of the night. And like they played that fourth one. I'm like there jumping around. There was somebody in a costume, like an inflatable costume, like next to me over in like the viewing area. Somebody told me it was Paul T. I don't know if that's real or not, but that's what they said. They saw him doing that backstage. I have not confirmed that, but like he was dancing next to me, and I was like, I don't know. I feel like it would have a black cap with it, but whoever that was, and I was like, no. And then I realized in there, I was like, oh, it's got to be like a nod to that. But it was just so much fun. And by the way, everybody in that crowd could carry a tune. Everyone was singing along. It sounded great.
It's all like the band and choir geeks.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm just like, everybody in that crowd, you sounded fabulous.
Did it get scary in there at all? I mean, obviously it was it's warm out. It's a huge crush in a tent. Was everyone pretty chill, or did it get a little intense?
I mean, I had a somewhat decent spot, and to be honest, it really wasn't, at least for me, too packed.
Good.
It was pretty fine. Like,
still early in the day.
I think maybe honestly a part of it is because the crowd was so into it and dancing so much that it just kind of provided a decent amount of room for everybody. Even if, and listen, I wasn't like 10 people away from the rail. It was more like probably 30 or so. But like, even back there, there was room. Not like tons of room because it was a packed tent, but at least enough room to sway. It wasn't sardines by any means.
So what have we heard about next weekend? Because it was very awkward on the live stream. They had this lady who I don't know who she was, and everyone on the internet was just ripping her apart on being a really bad live stream host. She was really awkward. She gave them a really awkward introduction, but then she said when she introduced them something about performing weekend one only, and it's just like, what did you just say?
Well, and I think someone just told me they're doing Saturday Night Live this weekend.
So,
I think I did see that. You're right.
I don't think we're getting Arcade Fire weekend 2 if you're going weekend 2.
No.
But, okay, wait a minute. If they pulled off Arcade Fire, who else could we get?
God.
Who could we get?
You can play on Friday and play in LA on Saturday. You can do it.
Yeah, it's not LA, impossible. SNL's in New York. I mean, that's like a long way to go.
And they got to. It's not like they can just show up to play SNL. You have to rehearse for SNL. You know.
So I don't think we're getting. I don't know. That was just such a great surprise. I'm like, I can't wait to see what they bring this weekend. Silk Sonic, man. I'm still gonna hope for that. Silk Sonic. Let's go. Silk Sonic, let's do it.
Oh man, Michael, you've seen them before, huh?
Yeah,
in Vegas?
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I've seen them 3 times already in Vegas.
Oh my gosh, I love this. I want to go see them so badly. Like
it's you have to do it in May. You have to do it. I could not recommend it enough. Like it's cheesy, but if you're into that stuff, which I very much am, then I think you're going to have a great time.
I'm totally into it. Like, I was so happy when they won all the Grammys. I was like, this is great.
Oh, yeah. They seem to get pretty mixed reviews, and it just seems to be if you like cheesy or if you don't. You know? That seems to be
if you're in on the joke and you're like, you get it, then
you're just laughing along. It's not about, like, I don't know. It's just fun.
People need to lighten up and enjoy Silk Sonic.
Yeah, just relax, okay?
Yeah, totally. So Friday night, right? So like I was like, I'll be like, I'm there working, I'm editing, so I did not get to see nearly as much music this weekend as I wanted to. But I did. I was so glad I went to Arcade Fire. By far, said of the weekend. I'm glad because I told everybody, I was like, your stories better be in. I'm sending them to our copy editors because I'm going, like, nothing is keeping me from this Arcade Fire set, everyone. Like, nothing will keep me. And I'm glad that I did that. But what about, like, who else did you see on Friday night?
Yeah, so after Arcade Fire, I went over and I saw some Madian, who I've seen a few times in the past, who, I know got some bad reviews because of on the live stream, just due to the editing. But, man, like, that live show was pretty phenomenal.
It was beautiful.
I don't want to spoil anything in case anybody didn't watch it or wants to see it, but just like some really awesome on-stage effects with both lighting and staging. It's really cool. And if you get the chance to walk by it for a bit, or just watch the whole thing, I would highly recommend it.
Would you say those were some of the best visuals of the weekend?
Yeah. I would definitely say so. There's definitely another act that had some equally impressive visuals later that we'll talk about.
We'll get to it.
Yeah. But yeah, Madian was very fun.
Awesome.
I think my set of Friday night was Harry Styles. Oh my God. I loved it. I think he was the best headliner of the weekend by far when he brought out Shania Twain.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So like, here's the thing. Cause the first part of his set, I was like, okay, well, this is really good, but it doesn't really it feels like a fantastic show he would bring to the Forum or to SoFi or wherever.
Sure. Yeah.
And then he brings out Shania Twain. Fun fact, Shania Twain made history. She is now the first performer to appear in a headlining set at both Coachella and Stagecoach. She headlined Stagecoach in 2017, which was epic, by the way. But like when she came out there and they did Man, I Feel Like a Woman and Still the One, I was like, I am here for it. I was like, I am all in on Harry Styles. And it was great.
As a non-Harry Styles fan myself, I had a blast at that show.
Right?
It was incredibly fun. He played like a bunch of hits that I forget that he, has written and plays. And yeah, his performance was great. He was into it. The crowd was into it. I was into it. I would recommend it to pretty much anybody, to be perfectly honest. As long as you're not trying to see Lane 8, I would try to go see Harry Styles, even if just for a bit. I'm curious if he does bring out Shania Twain again, because that was pretty incredible. I want to hear it.
I think he's bringing Stevie Nicks this weekend.
What?
Because he and Stevie Nicks are pals.
Hot take.
They're pals. And they've done Landslide together before. And I'm like, he's not going to bring Shania again. He's going to bring Stevie Nicks. Because, I don't know, he played 2 new songs. By the way, this was really funny. So we were live tweeting, right, from the field, our team. And, when we were talking about his new songs, Harry Styles fans were like, you're lying. He's not playing on a live stream. We're like, we're ahead of you. Trust me, he's playing these things. We have no reason to lie. This is, literally what he just said. And I feel like that song he did, Boyfriends, is very
it was
Laurel
great.
Canyon vibes. It was really good.
It was really, really good.
If he plays that again, he plays that and then brings out Stevie Nicks for Landslide. I was like, I'm calling it. I see this happening.
Insane. Yeah.
Because they're friends. Because everybody loves Harry Styles. Apparently, everybody loves him because he's amazing. And I just love that he is bringing out amazing women and just. So hopefully we get to see Stevie next weekend too.
Yeah, speaking of the new songs that he opened with his his new song that he just released recently. And it was interesting listening to it. It's like it's been around for years because I like knew all the words, even though I think I've heard it one time. I've heard it, I think, one time in passing. And I was like singing along to it. I was like, what is happening? Where am I?
Like, it's so catchy. And I really like, he debuted another song too, like Late Night Talking, that was like totally like a David Bowie kind of like Let's Dance, like Nile Rodgers kind of like funkiness to it. I'm into this. I kind of feel like Harry Styles in a lot of way. I feel like he's kind of a modern day George Michael, and like he comes from this kind of like this very pop background, but actually has just so much of a deeper well. I can't wait. So I'm definitely watching that entire set again. Although it made me miss King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard, who I love, but I was like, I'm going to get to see them again. I don't know how many times I'm going to go out and see Harry Styles.
Yeah, pay $300 for a nosebleed Harry Styles ticket. Exactly. Yeah, I don't. But yeah, also, circling back before we wrap up Friday, because I know we skipped a bit. The Avalanches were also top. One of my top sets of the weekend.
Man, you were all over the live stream. I'm sure you got so many texts.
I did.
Man, they cut to you so many times. You were right up front. You were having the time of your life. It was so fun. Did you see the camera on you?
Yeah, I saw it a couple times. Yeah. It was okay. That was so much fun, man. That set was just an absolute blast. When they mashed up Queen, I lost my life. It was the best, the best.
I know that I was trying to get. I didn't make it over there. That's one of my goals for this weekend, is to try to get over there to see the Avalanches, because that
would highly recommend
happen for me. And also,
we'll meet up, Vanessa.
I missed Idols this weekend too, because I had to go back and do my job. But I'm like, Idols is happening this weekend, and it's going to be awesome. That's my plan.
Someone commented that the Avalanches were like EDM music if it was around in the 1950s.
Wow, that's fascinating.
You're with that? You think that's an okay take?
I think I like that. I'll take it. I'll take it. We'll take it and run with it. It was fun. Yeah.
I'll give a quick shout out from the stream. Carly Rae Jepsen, just talk about vocal performance. There's a lot of limp syncing that goes on at Coachella, right? I'm not going to name any names, but it's really obvious on the live stream.
Okay.
But that little woman can just belt out these hits after hits, and like the other actress had too many backing vocals, but she crushed it. Sounded so good singing her little heart out. I'm a big fan of hers. And another thing that really caught me by surprise was Epic High on Friday. The Korean, they're called alternative hip hop.
Yeah, try not to say too much, because I'm very much looking forward to seeing them. No,
Okay, I'll give you the perfect little thing. Is they've got this song called High Technology.
Okay.
And I swear LMFAO ripped off that song when they made Party Rock Anthem. Listen to that song and listen to Party Rock Anthem, because it came out 2 years before. It came out in 2009. I had to look into this when I heard it. They sound exactly the same in some of these parts. And I was trying to see if LMFAO credited them, but I couldn't find anything about LMFAO crediting them. All I found was that I think it was Rick Ross sued LMFAO for using Every Day I'm Shuffling as opposed to Every Day I'm Hustling, right?
Yeah.
But man, there's just something about hip hop when there's a group and they're jumping. It's just like jump, 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 jump. No one does that anymore, right?
Yeah.
All the hip hop acts that you see are way more just like low key and they're hard, but they're not trying to be like jump, jump, jump. And it was like so genuine too. Like I was thinking like, okay, this is a Korean act. They're going to be like really choreographed and polished, but that's not these guys' vibes at all. They're it felt just like a normal American hip hop production, just done with like extreme passion and joy. Yeah, so I hope I didn't spoil it for you, Michael. But
you said they're jumping. It's ruined. You ruined it for me. No, but I really like a lot of their recorded music. Like they have a lot of really just like great songs.
It sounded way better live. And I was thinking about this too, that like, how much production has changed in the last like 15, 20 years? Like things just sound so much more crisp now.
Yeah.
And you listen to it, it just sounds a little cheesy on a lot of their stuff on Spotify, right? But they're not cheesy at all. Like that wasn't the vibe I was getting. It sounded way better, the production value live on the stream, than what I've heard on Spotify.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. It was good.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to them, actually.
And I asked my South Korean friends, and they said they're cool. So there you go. It's got some street cred.
All right. Well, there you go.
Anything else for Friday, or should we move on to Saturday?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, I did see the little 2-second bit of when Bieber came out for Daniel Caesar, which was hilariously entertaining because we were way in the back. But of course, as soon as anybody gets a glimpse of him, just the entire field just gets up and starts sprinting over to the main stage. For him, really only
anything, right? He just like stood there, kind of. Did he even?
No. He sang his bit for he sang Peaches, but it lasted 2 minutes. It lasted like 120 seconds, maybe. You know, like it was just funny to see everybody sprint over there and then casually like walk back once it was over. You know.
All right. Justin Bieber was in the house Friday night. So moving on to Saturday, I know Vanessa, you had a harder time getting in there on Saturday, right?
Saturday was hard. I didn't get in until later in the afternoon, and I missed the one band that I was determined to see, but it's okay because I got a second chance. And you all know who it is. You know who it is. It's one of Michael's top sets of the weekend too.
Oh yeah.
It's La Imperatrice, right?
Yeah.
And Michael, can you pronounce it do you pronounce it differently? Because
La Imperatrice? I don't know.
Yeah. You're good with that?
No.
Okay.
Nah. I don't know.
I feel like you're the kind of guy who pronounces things better than I do. But
oh no. Well,
it was close enough.
Well, I literally just found out how to actually pronounce Madian's name like 3 days ago. I was saying Madian for the longest time, so I've been training myself. Madian. It's Mad Ian.
Madian.
Anyway.
Okay,
so tell me about La Imperatrice.
Yeah.
First time seeing them, right? Because they haven't toured much in the U.S.
Yeah, that was definitely my first time seeing them.
Yep.
We showed up a little, I think 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes late, but oh my God, it's like from far back away, we could hear that bass coming through and just walking up and oof, it was so good. They sound their music sounds incredible, but it sounded better live. It was just they blew me away. It was
it packed in there?
Yeah, they had quite a big crowd. It was pretty packed actually. Definitely that was my favorite set of Saturday.
Yeah, I read some good things on Vanessa. Your writer Peter wrote about them and basically said the same thing that our friend Jeff Miller said, who also wrote about them, that it was like a quintessential Coachella moment.
Yes.
So shout out to La Imperatrice.
Yeah.
It's we've been talking about them for a while.
Peter came back, and I was so jealous because he came back and he told me, he's like, they were so great. He's like, they made even with my old knees, I was in there dancing. And he was like, get there early. He's like, he got packed. So you're going there, make your plan to get there early to get a good spot to see them. But I can't.
All because we've been talking about them for 2 years.
Right? I feel like,
shout out
Tom,
to
that was all you. You manifested this. Because you were the first person to tell me about them, and I'm like, yeah, this is I'm into this. You know what though? I danced in the Sahara tent, Tom. I know you make fun because I'm normally not the person you'll find in the Sahara tent, but I made it in there, and I made it in there.
You made it
for emo night.
Nice.
Which I was kind of okay, wait a minute. I've had a day, right? We had such a rough time, so I finally get in, and I'm like, you know what? I need to reset. What I need is to go find my people and go scream some My Chemical Romance at the top of my lungs right now. And wouldn't you know it, the tent was packed. It was so much fun. I mean, I also feel like I have emo night in my living room every Wednesday, but it was an absolute blast. They brought out special guests. They had Forrest from Hello Goodbye, and then Tom from the Plain White Tees came out and did Hey There Delilah.
No, wait, really?
Yeah,
that's kind of hype.
He totally did.
Hype.
I was when we saw the acoustic guitar, I was with a couple friends, and I was we were oh wait, are they bringing Dashboard Confessional? Because can you get any more emo?
Yeah.
By the way, they didn't have any Dashboard in that set, which I will quibble with, because I'm can you really call yourselves emo night if you're not going to play a single Dashboard Confessional song? Right. But I did get to scream along to My Chemical Romance. And it was my other favorite moment is that they mixed Olivia Rodrigo's "Good for You" with Paramore's "Misery Business." Yeah, that was
Gotta
great.
do it.
I loved it.
Gotta do it.
I loved it. I had I don't think that I would go back again this weekend because there's other stuff I want to see. But I'm it was everything I needed in that moment. But I've heard that they're probably going to bring out. I imagine they're going to bring out more special guests. So if you go. Let me know who comes out this weekend.
Yeah, I want to go.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested. I saw Wallows instead, who I've seen a couple times, but it was just more of a, hey, let's go get a beer by the outdoor and watch Wallows than deal with the potential emo night crowd, which I'm surprised to hear was as big as you say it was.
Yeah, I know, because I was like, I didn't think that my people were at Coachella anymore. I didn't think that we were all here. I thought we were all like going to see My Chemical Romance at the Forum later this year. Yeah, I was really surprised too, because like when you look back on it, like emo, I mean, like when I think about it, like real emo bands that have played Coachella, okay, you had Jimmy Eat World play, and you had like Sunny Day Real Estate. Those are like the two real ones. I'm like, do you really have anybody else? Like you had like, I had a lot of like punk bands that kind of like crossed over in that, but like I didn't know who was going to be there. I know there were old people like me living our best lives from our youth, and then there were like young kids these people knew, but they didn't know. It was interesting because I'm trying to remember which song it was that they were not as excited to sing. I was like, there was definitely like an age gap between the older emo kids and the younger people. But it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Interesting.
I love it. I'm looking at this set list. I'm surprised by how many songs that I wouldn't think were emo are on here.
Yeah, like Papa Roach.
Papa Roach?
Yeah, last week
we're going to say Papa Roach.
Yeah,
Third Eye Blind?
Yeah, that was weird. That was definitely weird. I was like, I'm not mad about it. I'm like, I love these. Like, it's fine. Yeah, like it was Blink-182, All the Small Things. I'm like, that's not emo. That is clearly pop punk. But what else? I'm ready to
Killers.
Dance. It was fun though. It was fun. I would totally go, because I think they do it in LA, or it started in LA. I'm like, I would just go to an emo night to like have fun and dance. I think my husband would absolutely hate it, but I would have the greatest time in the world.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's just that whole, resurgence, if you want to, if I may be so bold as to say, is very huge right now. Obviously with when we were Young Fest, popping off, those ticket sales popping off. And then, there's a venue up in San Francisco that I play a lot that's been struggling a bit recently, and they had struggling to sell tickets, and they did one emo themed night and they sold it out like crazy. It's fascinating to see how much of a market still exists for that in 2022.
So we'll probably see some of these bands coming up next few years at Coachella. Are we going to see Fall Out Boy at Coachella? Are we going to see Metro Station at Coachella?
Hey, I'd be there.
I'm totally down for that. I mean, that would be... I'm there. Like, again, like, give me When We Were Young, but like the older emo bands, and because that's a little bit. Yeah, I'm there for it. I would love that. Fallout, bring Midtown. I wanted Midtown to play.
So there's some strong like sub-headliner material here between like Fall Out Boy, Panic at the Disco. You could see them like going right there in that second line, don't you think?
Maybe. Yeah. I know. I think they'd be falling. I think a little lower than that.
Maybe a little lower, but
a little lower than that. We're not going to give them Doja Cat status. But yeah, it was good. You know who I missed? I missed her live. I missed Beach Bunny, but I watched that stream when we got back to the house that night, and that looked really fun. They were on the main stage, and I'm just like sunny indie pop rock, like beach vibes, and I'm like, I might want to go see them this weekend. So they seemed really fun. So I'm assuming I can get myself out earlier this weekend to do that. So I'm pretty stoked.
So Michael, what else did you see on Saturday?
Well, so I went from Lemon Pear Trees to Wallows, and after that, what did I do? I don't remember. From there, I'm pretty sure I was chilling. I got a little bit of food, and saw the second half of Kuko, I believe. Kuko? I don't know how you pronounce that name. See, I'm terrible. Kuko. See, I was right. Okay, Kuko. I saw like the second half of his set, mostly because me and my friends were trying to get close for Disclosure, which we did. We wound up right on the rail for that, which was quite fun. Which was actually quite a fun show. Not my favorite time I've seen them. I've seen them quite a few times. I was hoping for more live elements, which is kind of why it was brought down a little bit for me. I was expecting a little bit more than just a DJ set. It was cool when they brought out Khalid, but it was one of the better ones from the day. I also didn't see very much this day, so that's probably part of that. But it was very fun. Would recommend.
Amazing. So it was like the sun was just kind of setting on them, basically.
Yeah, that was part of why it was super nice too. I mean, anything on the outdoor at sunset's going to be nice, Yeah. But especially, a set like Disclosures. That was super atmospheric and nice. I really liked it.
Cool. Yeah, I was really excited to see them. Hopefully they'll do a little bit more live stuff weekend two. Get all the kinks out weekend one, and they can be a little bit more loose with it weekend two.
Sure.
So did you stay at Outdoor after that for Danny Elfman, which was the best set of the entire festival?
So I have a controversial opinion about the Danny Elfman set, which was one of my most anticipated sets of the weekend. It may have been the mood I was in. It may have been the people I was with, but I just wasn't really hitting. I don't know if it was just it was like so dark. It was just kind of like not really what I wanted to do right there. I don't know what it was, but listen, when we got the Night Before Christmas stuff and we got I was super, super into the orchestral bits. Like those were really fun, definitely, called back to,
you mean dark just like
Zimmer.
Thematically, like a lot of his music's kind of creepy and weird sounding?
Yeah, which is, that's Danny Elfman. Like what do you expect,
Yeah.
Like, of course it's going to be dark and creepy and weird because that's the stuff that he does. But like, I knew that we were always going to be getting a, span of Danny Elfman's career kind of set. But I really wanted more of the orchestral stuff because I loved that stuff. And I wasn't quite as into the darker stuff.
Really?
I'm going to get lambasted for that. People are going to, I'm never going to live this one down.
No, but wait a minute. But I think that I can understand that because when you think about, because I think the closest thing that we had to Danny Elfman before Danny Elfman was Hans Zimmer. And that was a purely orchestral set, right? So if you're going in there
which was one of the coolest sets. Yeah.
Totally. Now, like, I was stoked to hear it. I thought it was interesting how he put it together because I was thinking, okay, well, maybe he's going to do, like, an orchestral section with, like, his movie stuff, and then he's going to do, like, his new stuff that he's been working on, and then he's going to do, the Oingo Boingo hits.
Right. But
so
he actually split it up pretty, Yeah,
and I thought, like, and how he, like, weaved them in together. But I have to tell you, I never in a million years thought I'd see a Pee Wee Herman head like floating around on a screen at Coachella, and that just delighted me because he did the music for Pee Wee's Big Adventure.
Oh, and absolutely!
That was just delightful, and I really liked seeing the Oingo Boingo stuff. And he was having so much fun, like because I know that like my colleague Kelly had talked to him. She's interviewed him a few times over the years, and he was really hesitant to do Coachella. He really didn't want to come back and do it, and they finally came out and he saw it, I believe, with the Hans Zimmer. He saw that set and was like, okay, well, this could be kind of cool. And like, it was so cool to watch him enjoy playing again because he had a lot of hearing loss from his time in Oingo Boingo. So like seeing him enjoy being a performer and seeing how into it he was, it made it even cooler for me. And I feel like people missed out on that set. I feel like that is just something special you're not going to see anywhere else. And I might go back and see it again weekend too, because even though I guarantee you it'll be the same thing, because with all of that production and it was such a tight set that I can't see him like swapping songs in and out.
No.
And I mean, he played the Batman theme from like the 1989 Batman. Like I'm like, this is great. Yeah, I loved it. Favorite set of the weekend.
My plan is to actually go back weekend 2 and just like prepare mentally for it because I did that in 2019. I went to see Aphex Twin weekend 1 and I could not get into it. I was like, this is not, I don't want to do this. I'm going to go. I also like Parcells with this was at the same time. So I wanted to see that. And I was popping back and forth. But then I went back weekend 2 and I was like, listen, as long as I prepare, it's going to be weird. It's not going to be what you're into. It's going to be strange. And as soon as I walked in the tent for Aphex Twin, I was like, my jaw dropped, I was like into it the entire time. So I think as long as I just go into a certain thing with just like more prepared for that, I think I'll appreciate it more, But it was just weird going from Disclosure, bringing up Khalid for Talk to like this really dark like stuff like with these visuals that were just like what I don't know.
That's what it's what the kids call a vibe shift, right? Is that the vibe shift?
That's what the kids call these days. Yeah, that's what the.
If it was something else like really weird or dark before, like put Black Midi, obviously that's like maybe not a big enough act to play on the outdoor theater right beforehand, but something like then it would be like set the stage really well for him because you'd be like used to hearing those weird sounds.
Sure.
Because I'm with you, Michael. I wasn't excited about Danny Elfman because it's like I don't want to go be like weirded out at Coachella. That's not what I'm going for. But the one thing I'll say that looked really cool, which is what he did way better than Hans Zimmer, from what I could tell. It looks like the visuals were like really on point. Like when he was playing the Simpsons game, like they actually had like footage of the Simpsons there on the big screen, so everyone got to enjoy it. Which was like a big thing lacking with Hans Zimmer that they didn't have. Like, can you imagine if they're actually playing like scenes from The Lion King, right?
That
like when he
nuts.
was doing that.
I honestly don't even remember because I was just zoning so hard during Hans Zimmer. I was just like lying down and just like, I didn't even need visuals for that Hans Zimmer set. But I get what you're saying. I totally understand that. Like, it was more curated in that like presentation.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they were also scary. Like, his new stuff, it was scary. Like, that, like, I don't know. Where it was dark. It's like, that's, like, weird right now. But
I'm not super big on, like, seeing dolls chopped up and put into thing. You know, like, that's,
that was
not really my thing.
Not really. But it was, But, like, seeing the Simpsons stuff was really fun.
Yeah.
We got to see the Simpsons theme. Like, how just weird and wonderful it was. Like, it was just weird and wonderful. That was, I think, the way to describe that set. But that was like,
absolutely.
That was good. But that's not where you went to a band that I really wanted to see that I didn't make it over to this week because, again, I was back there, doing the whole work thing. How was Hot Chip?
Hot Chip was very fun. I had a great time. They didn't play a couple songs I really, really wanted to hear them play. My favorite song of theirs is Hirachi Lights, and they didn't play it. So that was kind of sad. But they were a lot of fun. That was my first time actually seeing them. It was great. They brought out, oh God, I'm blanking on his name, but what's his name from the Beastie Boys to perform Sabotage? That was incredible.
What?
Yeah, I forget what I'm blanking. I'm so bad with names.
It had to be either Mike D or
the only
Adam
two
Young.
Surviving ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I'm blanking. I'm so bad. Yeah, whichever one of those two. It wasn't a super packed tent. The energy was pretty fun. I enjoyed it. I'll probably wind up going to see Stromae Weekend 2.
I caught a little bit of that set, and I want to see more. Oh my.
I've heard nothing but good things about his live shows, so I've never gotten the chance. So I feel like I have to.
He sounded so good. And then I popped out of the press tent to like watch the end of it. And he like ended with like a barbershop quintet. It was amazing. Just
That's
like, it was just so good. And he was just so happy to be there. I love when performers are just, and this is one thing I will say about Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish is that Billie was like, she's like, I can't believe I'm here. I like love when performers are just so excited and they realize like, wow, I'm at Coachella. Like, cause I'm like, wow, we're at Coachella together. So like that always just gets me. And like Stromae just seemed so happy to be there and like so happy that people were watching him. That was it was a really cool set. And like seeing some of the visuals from his set, I'm hoping to see more of it this weekend.
Cool. Yeah, the visuals are absolutely gorgeous. Really felt like art.
Yeah.
So Saturday, that was the main takeaway for me is I got to see Hot Chip and Stromae. I was at a wedding, so didn't get to see most of the stuff, but those two looked amazing. So let's move on to Sunday. The first thing that I saw on Sunday on the live stream that really stood out to me, it's funny because, on the live stream there's 3 channels. And the artist channel Trace was on channel 3, and it was funny on the chat. Like a bunch of people were like, I couldn't figure out why you guys started like talking about channel Trace in Spanish. Like, but of course, like this guy danced his ass off, and I always thought of him more of like a producer DJ. I didn't think he was like that front man.
Right.
It kind of reminded me of Anderson .Paak, right? Because like he, I don't know, it just feels like a star rising. Definitely, I could see him getting up to that level. And shout out to Compton. You're like another guy from Compton. Like Compton is so well represented with like big stars right now. I used to work in Compton for a handful of years, so I feel like I know about the area. I got to like meet the mayor and stuff. So
nice.
Compton sticking in there. Someone called him Black Justin Timberlake. And I saw that as being true. Like the guy was amazing. Michael, you saw this, right?
Yes. I went to go see Channel. Unfortunately, that was the first act that I did get to see on Sunday because I got in there so late. But yes, he was very fun. I've seen him once before, and this was a lot more fun. I don't know if it was because it was in a festival setting versus a club setting. I felt like the club setting was kind of a weird environment, but the festival setting was really fun. He had this really cool kind of somewhat elaborate, stage setup with with levels and platforms, and it was really fun. It was really fun to watch. I definitely recommend it. Unfortunately, there's so much going on at that same time that I wanted to see, like Emotional Oranges, Viagra Boys, Run the Jewels. That that was brutal. There wasn't even that much on Sunday, but everything just seemed to conflict.
That's such is life at Coachella.
Yeah, that's how it goes.
Yeah, it really is.
What about you, Vanessa? Did you get there in time to see much stuff early in the day on Sunday?
I did. Okay, Sunday I finally got to see more music. I was really, really happy about that. I started with Gabriel on the main stage. He has played the main stage, I think, more than anyone else. I think it was his 8th time. Full disclosure,
Jeez.
I know Gabe. He is wonderful. I met him interviewing for the paper, and we become friends. So it was so exciting to I get very excited to see people I know on the main stage. Then I saw a little bit of Sir Curse, who were super fun. They dressed up as the Wizard of Oz characters. Kudos to the Cowardly Lion guy who ripped off his head and after one song. But that was super fun. I cruised over to see a set that you and I are going to watch again this weekend, Tom. I saw Altingun, the Turkish psych rock band by way of the Netherlands, for a little bit in the tent, because honestly, the Saturday was the hottest day. I was definitely feeling it, and I was like, oh, I can go see them for a little bit, chill out, and rock out at the same time. And then from there, I went and watched Yola. And I watched her for a bit, a little bit in the sunshine, and it was so hot. I feel so bad for her. She's amazing. She sounded incredible. Just what a voice, what a performer. I've talked about her on here before. She's country, she's R&B, she's soul, she's rock. She's playing this guitar. I love her so much. And she just drew such a bummer of a time slot, because it's so hot. It was so hot out there at that point, that sun.
And no one's getting there early in the day on Sunday, let's be honest.
Yeah, and they aren't. Right? I mean, I did, because I didn't get there early on Saturday. We're not doing that again. So she sounded amazing. But I didn't get to see, I want to see Banda MASA this weekend instead, because I'm going to go back and see Yola again at Stagecoach. So that is my plan this week. I heard Banda MASA, I was watching their set on the YouTube, at 3 a.m. when we got back. And they seem super fun too. But I think there's a lot going on Sunday. Because Run the Jewels, Viagra. I didn't make it to Viagra Boys this week. I've got to get there this coming weekend.
That's my
sounded
plan.
Really good. David, did you see Phineas?
I did not see any of Phineas myself.
I watched a little bit of him. I watched some Orville Peck. Orville Peck is a riot. He sounded so good. I can't wait to see what outfit he comes out in this week. I love the people who dress like Orville Peck and have the full-on mask, the cowboy hat with the fringe. We saw some of them. We've got photos up on the websites. That was really good. I can't wait. And I'm kicking myself for not making it over to Carol G in time. I feel like that was a big regret of my weekend for the sunset.
Did you see Carol G, Michael?
No, I did not. I was at Duck Sauce.
Oh, of course.
And they had a giant duck.
Oh, yeah, they did. That was so much fun. So it's just such a cheesy, fun disco house dance party. It was just everybody was dancing, and they do this, cute stuff with each other on stage, and with little mini. I won't get too much into it for spoilers, but it's just really fun. And once again, if you like cheesy stuff, you'll have a blast. You won't have a choice but to have a blast.
Amazing. I would love to see that, but I have to see Carol G after seeing it on the live stream. Just the way she did a medley of Latin songs. She played Gasolina, same as J Balvin did in 2019, and a bunch of other covers a couple Shakira songs. And it's just there's something about her just genuine smile and playful spirit. Another one of those things Vanessa saying someone just so happy to be there. She represented for Colombia really hard, I think, and also she brought out Tiesto, which was just really funny and random. And his stage came up and then he was there and then it went down and he ducked down and he was gone. It was just so quick and silly. Yeah,
that's great.
It was so weird.
He was so funny. Yeah, they zoomed in on him. You could see him ducking, and then the stage disappeared. It was just bye, dude. See you later. It was perfect. No one needed more Tiesto. He only needed to be there for one song, and maybe he did too. I don't know, but it was really random and silly. And I don't know, talking about a lot of the pop stars, right? They just don't sing their own songs, and she did. Another one of these that had live vocals, or at least they sounded live, and she was faking it really well. And yeah, she was amazing. I definitely want to see that. Can't wait.
What's that I'm curious about just looking at this was this Solomon. Not that I'm a big Solomon fan, but just to see Solomon, this deep techno artist, on the main stage the outdoor stage at Sunset. That's so strange to me. I'm fascinated to hear
I haven't heard anyone mention it. Especially because Fred Again was at that same time. There's a lot of those people would be at Fred Again, which people were saying the live stream that looked amazing. Another one of these things.
That's a major priority for me for next weekend. I was at Chicano Batman, who I've seen a few times. My group wanted to see them, but I'm definitely seeing Fred Again weekend too. It's not even up for debate. I've heard from a lot of people it was the best set.
Yeah, it looked. I caught that one because again, late. That was like the best thing about editing late into the night. Is we like put the stream on, and I'm like, oh, here's stuff I didn't see. Like, and that Freddy End set looked so much fun. Like, it was going off.
Yeah, I heard the crowd was insane.
I hadn't seen that's the like up on the live stream. I hadn't seen a crowd move like that except for Fred again. Like the crowd was just bouncing.
Yeah, they were into it.
Yeah, it was very impressive. So, what did you see like heading into the nighttime? Vanessa.
Oh, I went to see our favorite Italian Eurovision winners. Måneskin. I still don't know how to pronounce the name. Because I'm going there. So there weren't a ton of people in there, but oh my gosh, what a fun set that was. They just like totally rocked out. I mean, like it's like seeing rock star moves. Like you want to see like I'm thinking like Motley Crue in the early '80s. Like I was a toddler, but like there's kicks, and then the singer he was wearing a dress. And then he took it off. He like lost his necklace and like threw it into the crowd. And then he like takes off the dress and he's wearing like it almost looks like some kind of an S&M like leather kind of outfit. It was just so funny. He was hilarious, and it was just pure again into that cheesy like pop rock fun, and they rocked. Like it was I had so much fun watching it because I was just like, this is just a weird thing. And they played Beg, and they played the hit like halfway through. So if you just want to go for a little bit, I want to go again to see what they're going to wear this weekend. And because I figured there was no way I was going to get into Yuma for Fatboy Slim. I feel like people were probably waiting there since like 7 p.m. or something. So I figured that wasn't going to happen.
I had heard it wasn't that hard to get into. I didn't try because my friends wanted to see Duke Dumont. But my understanding is Fatboy Slim wasn't that hard to get into. And my guess is maybe because I think Doja Cat had the biggest crowd of the weekend.
Yeah, she might have. That was...
I'm not entirely sure. I could be wrong. But walking over to that, because I walked over for the last like 15 minutes, I don't know if I've ever seen the main stage that packed. Like ever. Like Beyonce. I don't even know if Beyonce was. Of course it was. Obviously it was. But it was Beyonce level packed at the main stage for her. It was kind of incredible.
She weirdly, like, her set ended and she got like pulled off as she was announcing that weird Taco Bell, that Mexican pizza was back.
Yeah, she went a good like 10 minutes over.
Yeah. So they said that it was really funny because like Taco Bell was like teasing it, and like we got like press was like, hey, like she's gonna announce something big, and I was like, okay, well we gotta listen for this, right? Because among the other weird things we cover in my newsroom is Taco Bell, because it's based in Orange County, and I was like, I think she's gonna announce the Mexican pizza coming back. So I may have had like, that was like one of the weirdest things I've ever assigned. I was like, your entire job for this set is to make sure, I was like, because I had our music reporters watching set, and I was like, somebody else, I was like, I need you to tell me whatever she says about Mexican pizza right away. So that was just like, I'm like, weird things that happen in the life of a journalist at Coachella. But yeah, Doja, so yeah, she went
so
late.
Random.
I wondered, like, was everybody running late? I guess when I was last there, like early in the day, people weren't running late. But like Swedish House Mafia on the weekend, they were like a half an hour late.
They were more than that. No, I believe they didn't go on until like 11, I don't think, right?
So yeah, they were 40 minutes
or even
late.
a little later, or even I think possibly a little later. I don't fully remember, but I know they were late as absolute everything.
Yeah.
Did you see the show?
I did see the show. It was not great. It was. For what it's worth, I'm not a Swedish House Mafia hater. I think some of their stuff's kind of catchy. Like I was kind of down to cheese out on the main stage for just a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was. I'm also not a huge The Weeknd fan. I don't know. It was fine. That's a lie. It wasn't fine. It was kind of bad.
Fine. It was.
It was kind of bad.
I mean, like, I guess, like, on one, and I think Peter said this, like, our reporter Peter Larson said this really well. He was like, on one hand, it was amazing that there was a headliner at all after Kanye pulled out, right? Like, so it's great that you had something. But he said it was truly underwhelming. The other thing that was weird is that from where we were, and like we were both like walking around a little bit, that was the most packed the field was all weekend. Like for the headliners. Was it really? For the headliners.
Oh, for the headline.
Really? For the headliners. And I was shocked by that, because I thought for sure, like, that the Billy fan, by the way, the Billy fans were very emotional. There was one woman, she couldn't sit down because it was just too much for her to watch Billy.
Oh, my.
But, like, people were, like, going nuts for Swedish House. And, like, they were there patiently waiting. And I'm just like, I just thought it was... The visuals looked cool. I mean, it didn't, like, I thought it might give me a seizure. At least they warned people about that. By the way, if you're an epileptic, be careful going to the Swedish House Mafia set. They do have a warning that there's a lot of flashing lights. But wow, yeah, yeah. I liked hearing Blinding Lights live. That was cool.
Sure.
Yeah.
Circling back though, because we skipped this bit. I did want to mention this really quick. We're talking about light shows. I know we were talking with Maddie earlier, and I did get the chance, and this was one of my favorite sets of Sunday for sure. Was actually, and I'm not a big fan, but Duke Dumont was surprisingly really fun. He opened with Red Light with like an edit of the original, but also kind of a live-ish edit of Red Light, Green Light, which was a blast, obviously. And then he went into this track Obey that I've never heard before, but it was like the best transition from one track to another I think I've ever heard in my life. And the visuals and the music, I mean, he was full on channeling Gesaffelstein with like, he was smoking a cigarette. It was like, you gotta check out some of the beginning of the live stream or check him out at least the first half.
Had you ever seen visuals like that? Have you ever seen like the screen, the way that was set up, or like whatever it was with the lights in front?
No,
it was awesome. I don't think I'd ever seen anything like that.
It was awesome. Like that and Madian were easily the two best visuals for the entire weekend. I would highly recommend, if even just seeing the first half or third of the Duke Dumont set, I would extremely recommend that.
All right. Done.
Yeah.
Sold.
That looked really good on live stream. I was just like right in front of my TV screen dancing to that. That was a lot of fun.
I definitely had like when he dropped Obey, which again I've never even heard this song before, but my jaw dropped. I was like, whoa.
All right. So I think that pretty much covers it. I'm excited to go weekend 2. We're all going to be there.
Dance party at Les Imperatrices.
Oh yeah.
I'll be at Purple Disco Machine on Friday.
Good luck.
So yeah,
you're gonna have to get there a couple hours early, but
we're gonna make it happen.
You'll make it happen. I believe in you.
So Michael, how should people follow you if they ever want to like see you DJ, for example?
Oh yeah, Instagram Michael Milano, like the cookie. That's not the full tag. It's Michael Milano, but Milano is like the cookie.
Yes. And are you still DJing on Twitch?
Yeah, I still play on Twitch every Wednesday and Thursday. So tomorrow and every Wednesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, twitch.tv/Michael_Milano. I play the jams.
Are you going to mix up some of the new stuff you heard over the weekend?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about probably dropping some Obey.
Yeah, I think so.
Nice. And you can follow us over on Twitter and Instagram at Can't Feel the Heat. Remember to like, listen, subscribe over on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Stitcher, wherever you are listening to this fine podcast from today. Also, if you want to see all of the things that we are writing about, and my team is writing a lot of things and taking a lot of photos. See, we might take your photo, especially if you were in the front row at any set at Coachella. Go to pe.com/Coachella and you can see all of our stories and content from the weekend. And we cannot wait to see you next time.
You have just listened to Can't Feel the Heat, the Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival unofficial podcast. Please rate us on Apple Podcasts and subscribe on all of your favorite platforms. Follow us on Instagram at Can't Feel the Heat and check out our website at www.can'tfeeltheheat.com.